Alright, it's the 7th of October 2019 and we're going to be looking at this week's pairs. So we're going to start with the Aussie card as usual from the daily in terms of direction. My bias is still bearish. We could see that we're still making highs, sorry. We most recently came back to test an area of resistance and we seem to be holding there. So if that's the case, I simply want to go to the 4-hour chart and I want to start seeing the market waving. So we had a nice little push. What I want to see is a correction that is lower than this high, and then we'd be looking to sell a move like this, lower or actually equal to this high if we get a double top here again and then the market sells off. Alright, so Aussie card, I'm thinking bearish just based on where we're at. As you can see, we were bullish here. This was a low that the market most recently took out. So now we need to make a lower high again, and that will be the continuation of the move if the market is going to fall from here. Aussie JPY, similarly, I was looking at this here from this area, so you could see we did reject off of this area. Similarly, I want a correction and then continuation because we're still working our way down to this daily major support. From this area here, you can see we've been talking about this, so we could get a double top or a lower high and then continuation of this move on the Aussie JPY. Aussie Swiss franc, similarly, lower high again here, which corresponds with this double top here on the 4-hour. We had a push, a correction, a lower high, a push. We're having a correction now, so I am expecting another lower high. I'm expecting something like this and then fall. So that's what I'll be looking for to get into this Aussie card trade. Aussie New Zealand dollar, again last week we were talking about this bearish, which worked out nicely. We had the market push down. Now we're kind of sideways. I don't too much like this the consolidation here rather than a push and a correction, but we are in correction mode, I would say, because this is what we did. We made, let's look at it, a low, a high, high, a low, and we're now pushing to make a higher high. So we should continue to correct like that, and then once the market changes that pattern, breaks structure and starts back making lower highs, that's when I'll be looking to continue selling this. If not, we could see a bullish run on the Aussie New Zealand dollar. Alright, Aussie US dollar, similarly, we came down to major support. We had a bounce off of it, which is good. But then now, as you can see, the market is holding at those the market is holding at those structure highs. So we're seeing a nice push down again. So all we want is a correction and then a push again, and we'll be looking to get in selling this market. CAD Swiss franc, nice trade from last week. To be honest though, some of us would have gotten stopped out based on where our stop was with this little spike here. But if you did, the signal to get back in would have been around here, stop above the U-turn, and we had the move. So from the daily, we could see it was a double top that we were selling and the market is falling. I'm expecting continued bearish movement. We're right back at some support to become resistance right now, but let's see. What I want to see is this market start to wave down, giving us a lower high again, and then we basically be in selling this market. So from here, I think we should see some bearish. We could go down to the 1-hour time frame and start seeing what the market is doing. CAD JPY, another good trade from last week. We had the highs we had here and the market fell. I myself took profit a bit early on this one, but that's okay. The market fell over 100 pips from the entry that we were looking at last week. I don't see a change in terms of bias. I'm still thinking this is bearish. So what I'd want to see is a correction, right? Come back up a little higher, and then we'd be looking to sell a lower high than the previous high. Swiss franc JPY, so again, nice little trade that we were looking at from before. You could see this double top here and the market fell all the way down to the support. Good. Now we seem to be holding at the support and the market is making higher highs, right, and higher lows. So we could see that's a low, this is a higher low. So as long as the market continues making those higher lows, then we'd be looking to buy this market if we get an entry. If then it violates structure and starts going lower, then we'd be looking to basically start selling. But for now, after a big push like this, I do expect a correction, and we seem to be having the setup there for the correction nicely. Euro Aussie, right? So the Euro Aussie on the daily, we could see lower highs, right? We're back at this area here that was support, is acting as resistance, and we did have a push off of it, right? When I take that information now down to the 4-hour, I could see most recently the 4-hour made a low, a higher low, pushed up, broke structure. So we broke that trend line and broke that low. That's why I still identify this. And then now the market pushed and is correcting, just like I'm talking about. So from here, push, correct, or even come back to form a double top again, and then we're looking for this market to sell off. All I want right now from this area here, I want to go to a lower time frame and wait for the market to start making a lower high, and then I'll be able to sell this Euro Aussie. Euro CAD, right? Again, let me get rid of this. Lower highs are being made. This was the last lower high. We now have a lower high again right here most recently. So let me clear this, link this to the lower time frame so we have it. This is where we're at. All right, and we seem to be moving sideways here. What I would want for the Euro CAD for a nice little sell-off is for the market to take out this low. So my bias is to sell, but I want the market to take out the low, come back, and then look to fall, and that's where I'll be looking to sell this market. All right, with the sideways movement here, I kind of want to stay out a bit, but let me see what the market does, and then I'll have a better entry. Euro Swiss franc. So the Euro Swiss franc is holding at support here, and seeing this is now a triple bottom that was formed, and we are going bullish here. As you can see, we are making higher highs, right? What I would point out though, let me clear this. This is what this market was doing. Lows, higher low, higher low. We took out that low, formed a double top here and took out the low, and now we're back at here. So this market right now can potentially be bearish. Again, I want some more confirmation to wait and see. If it goes above here, then we'd be looking for something bullish like this if the market can hold here. So again, we're going down to a smaller time frame and start looking for the market waving down at that area, and that should be a good entry for us to take. Euro pound, we had the market pushing down, and now the market seems to be pushing up. Let me clear the screen here. We could see here, this was the fall, this is the low, this seems to be the higher low, and we have a higher high. So, but I don't, again, with this one, because of how it is, you can see it's not really clear. Again, a lot of wicks on the Euro pound as usual. So unless I have a clear setup, I'm not interested in trading it. But direction wise for now, I do think this is bullish and would be bullish. Euro JPY, again, this market was falling from here, making lower lows. I thought this was going to go bullish here. This is a trade that I would have gotten stopped out on, which is fine, right? Because we did break structure, we did take out the high and pull back, but then we just continued to go. But if you're, let's break this down. If this is where I'm thinking the market was going to go up from, we had a push, we had a correction, but then the market was supposed to go and make a higher high. It did not. It made a lower high than this high, which means, all right, the bears are back in control, and the market was not able to continue to push. So that's why this market fell. So even if we didn't take a sell here, we could have gotten in a sell around here, and then the market fell down to the target. So for this week, my bias is the same thing, but I'm just watching. This is somewhat of a pennant, I guess, a channel. I'm just kind of watching what this market is doing, falling here. So when I do have a clear breakout of this, that's when I'll be looking to trade the Euro JPY. Euro New Zealand, again, similarly, the market was falling here. We were looking for this to fall, this one, and that's why I like trading like this. This one, we did not get an entry, so we did not lose on this trade, and the market went up. but then the market went right back down, falling bearish again. So I want to clear this. I kind of want to stay out of this one. On the daily, it's not that decisive. We don't know exactly what the market is going to do, so I'm not even interested in looking at it on the 4 hour. Euro US dollar daily, we are still falling down. We are now correcting. We are at a high area that could potentially be, as you watch on this side, a lower high. So a high, lower high, potential lower high, right? I want to see the market start to do this on the smaller time frame in order for me to get a sell. So I want to clear this. I want to link objects lower time frame so I can have an idea, and I'm waiting for the 4 hour to take out these lows here, make a lower low, correct, and then I'll be looking to sell the Euro US dollar. Pound Aussie, nice trade from last week. So I'm trading this channel all the way down to support here of the channel, and as you can see, last week we had an entry here. The market did come up and spike some of us out, but some of us were able to stay in with it depending on where we had our stops, and the market fell all the way back down to support. We had a bounce at support, but I am expecting the continuation as the market continues to make lower highs. We could see here, this is a batch of highs. This is the next set of highs here where we had some support here to become resistance. Now that this market can potentially fall with. Pound US dollar. Alright, so again, off of these highs here, we have the market making lower highs, falling, but we did have the market making a higher high, so we should see a correction as we could see it here. We have a low, we have a set of higher lows. So if this is going to hold here, this is going to go up from here. If not, we're going to see a break of this, a retest, and then we're going to see the market continue to fall. So that's what I'm looking for from the pound US dollar. Pound CAD, again, lower highs all the way, but most recently the market is making higher highs. But on the pound pairs, you would see that we're currently at this area of support right here, which is good for our trades. If we break below here, we'd have a nice little setup, or from here we'd have a nice little push like this, and then we could look to buy the market as it goes up. Alright, so we're at support right now. Let's see what the market does on the pound US dollar, on the pound CAD, sorry. Pound Swiss franc, similarly, started pushing down, gave us a correction, seems to be holding from there. Let me clear the screen. We were making, right, lower, higher lows, right here, right here, right here. We broke that, and we're now making lower highs. So let's see what this market does if we're going to continue bearish as the market falls. Pound JPY, same thing. We could see clear lower lows, lower highs. We had a night, the last trading opportunity would have been this one right here, where we had the market come back into this area here, some consolidation, a breakout, a retest, and then a push down. This here would have been our sell off. This is where we're at. I'm expecting continuation on this bearish. Pound New Zealand dollar, similarly, let me just clear the screen. We're pushing here, making lower highs. We could see the lower highs setting up here as well. And then most recently, we have the market pushing down here, lower high, and then now potentially a lower high again. So let's see what this market does here for the pound New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD, nice bearish moves. We had a correction, and now we're rejecting right back at that previous high, which is a good sign. So for the continuation, what we want is a correction and then the market to fall. We already made a high, a lower set of highs, so we could come back up to test this to form a double top, or we could make a lower high and then continue falling bearish. Swiss franc, the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc, again bouncing off a major support, and this one we are, and that's what I'm saying. I want to see what the market is going to do. I want more data for these, because if we are bouncing and this is the major low and this is one push, this could be the lower high, and then the higher low, sorry, and then we could see a push like this, right? But for me, so this is my bias, but as of right now, we're not making lower, we're not making higher lows as yet. We started making lower highs to correct. So until we take out that, then I want to wait and see what this market is going to do for the New Zealand dollar Swiss franc. Same thing for the New Zealand JPY, bouncing off of this right here, and we can clearly see we were making, and then we were making lower lows. Look at this one. So each of these are a bit different, right? Even if they're all in New Zealand dollar pairs, those were the lows, the lower highs that we were making. Then the market pushed and made a higher high. So this becomes the low, this becomes the higher high, and then this is where we're currently at right now. If this holds here, this could become a higher low, which then gives us a push bullish here. All right, New Zealand US dollar bearish, came back up to this resistance right here, retested it, and seems to be holding and rejecting. If that is the case, then all I want is correction. So I want a correction, and then the market continues bearish like this for the New Zealand dollar US dollar. US dollar JPY, a nice little trade from last week. I did say we were going to correct. We did not pull all the way back as we expected, but we did have a nice little fall. So those of you who were able to use some advanced entry strategies should have been able to get in on this one and take advantage of this. For now, I do expect continuation, but if we watch, this is what I'm going to expect: a correction and then maybe continuation. As long as we keep making lower highs, then we're going to continue bearish on this pair. If we hold here and we start making higher lows, then we should be going bullish. But for now, I'm still seeing we broke this structure. We pushed down, came back up, form a double top, a lower high, push down, and we should now correct after scoring a bear point, correct, and then continue going bearish. US dollar CAD, nice little trade setup here. We now have a double top, right, where this market broke the structure here, pushed down, came back up to the high, seems to be holding and rejecting here, and we could see that the 4-hour is making lower highs. We could see this high here, this high here, this high here, which we should now see continue to fall bearish. All right, so that's what I'm looking at on this. Target 1 is going to be around 32. Target 2 is going to be this low down here at around 1.31, right? So 1.32 is around the target here, 1.3220, and this one is about 1.3147, let's say 50, 1.3150 area for the US CAD. US dollar Swiss franc, again, I don't like this one. It's not as clean, but basically it's the same concept. We have basically a range for the US dollar Swiss franc, and the market is currently rejecting off of resistance, right? What I need the market to do, however, because of how this is going, we're still making higher. If we watch the dailies, we're still making higher lows here, pushing. So for this to be confirmed bearish, I will need the market to take out a low, pull back, and then give me a trade. So this might not be this week. Let me delete this. Right, this might be next week. So let me just link this to the lower time frame so I can know what the game plan is based on where we're at. I want to see a push and then a pullback, and then we could start going bearish on this down to support. The dollar itself, again, sideways, and we are moving from resistance down to support, at least for now. We're in the middle of the range right now. So let me just clear this. This is super simple. I'm just looking for the market to push and continue to push bearish down to support, and then probably stay within the range unless something drastic makes the dollar break out of that range. So I'm expecting dollar weakness this week. Let's see what happens. Oil. So let me clear this. As a matter of fact, let me put this back. This is what I like about this. Again, because of how I'm waiting for the entry and I'm waiting for the trade, even if I was thinking bullish last week, I did not get the setup. I never got the setup, so I never got an entry. So I didn't lose any money on this trade. I just never got the entry. So now basically we now have what I wanted, which was a break of this structure, a push. We should see a correction again, and then we should see continuation. What I do want to note is that, let me clear the screen. We did break this trend line. We do have a low here and basically a double bottom, if you want to call this. So we now have a push. I want to see a correction and then continue going. I want to buy here again, buy the higher low, and then that's how we should see an oil. Oil is bouncing off of major support down here, which is at 50.96 area around there. So let's see what does happen. If we continue making higher lows, then we should go bullish on oil. And then last but not least, gold. We spoke about this one last week. We spoke about selling this here. We took a nice little trade on this. Now we're having a correction again, and I'm saying once this holds here, we should see the continuation going bearish. We do have the rejections already. This is this area from the daily identified here. So what I need for gold, however, it is finding some support here and some resistance here, kind of moving sideways. So if we are to buy this, then I need the market to break out above. My bias for this right now is bearish, but I want the market to break out, pull back, and then continue going bearish. That's what I'll be looking to do for gold. That's it for this week, guys. Have a great trading week. I will see you all next week.